INFJs and INTJs. I am an INFJ and my sister is an INTJ. She is actually the one that had everyone in my family take a personality test in the beginning. She's not so much into it anymore now. I think that for people that have the FE blind spot, maybe it's kind of unbalancing for them to get too much into that because they're kind of already being really analytical naturally when they're around people, so maybe it kind of pushes them too much to the other side. I don't know, or it can. I'm sure it's somewhat individual, but INFJs and INTJs have in common their first function, which is NI. And as well as having those in common, we also have in common being uncommon because of that cognitive function. So that's a pretty big deal when you're a human. So when we talk, we end up talking about NI stuff. Also, INTJs have the TI for their sixth function, so they are big picture people also. I heard on a video that INTJs really need to be able to interact with people intellectually, and the INFJs need to be able to do that morally. A guy that makes videos on YouTube was saying about that, and I realized that it really is true. And that when I talk to my INTJ sister a lot, that's what we'll be talking about, facts and everything, and I'll be giving her synopsis of different books that I read and that sort of thing. And that just, I thought that it was just something we had in common, but after that I realized that it was really something that they needed, and it just really helps them and gives them a lot of boost and energy somehow for their life. They are able to listen to something and remember it, which is more commonly found in men than women, I read. But INTJ women can do it also. She graduated from university doing that because she's not really into reading. Apparently she doesn't really remember it from reading. She likes books, but maybe she won't finish them. I wish I had more INTJs to put into the picture. I don't really know any very well other than my sister, but that's funny. I was at an event a couple months ago, and there was a group beside me, and an INTJ girl came up to join them. And I could tell she was an INTJ, and it was really funny. I really wanted to laugh. The INTJ women is really noticeable in the women. I guess the guys probably have it too, but you're kind of more accustomed to noticing shoulders on a guy than you are on a woman. On women. But they have this kind of thing with their shoulders, and it just kind of comes from their TE, I think. That kind of a square kind of thing where they're just going to kind of plow through any difficulties and, like make something happen kind of thing. And also her, my sister, and another INTJ woman that I just saw in a movie the other day have this thing with big hair. And this thing with their hair is like, it's hair, and she had, curly hair like my sister, and she was like moving her hand the same way and like putting her fingers through her hair, like with the same timing and the same kind of movement and everything. I was just about to crack up. But anyway, INTJs, since they have that FE blind spot, I kind of see FE as one of the things it does is it's kind of like pours on your skin, like lets your personal emotion through. So they can look really stone-faced, but they're not like that. I mean, obviously they have very deep feelings. They're very feeling people. It's just that it doesn't show. And also maybe they're not going to pick up on other people's feelings. They don't have that antenna of FE. Of course they have all the thinking things that they pick up on. But one thing about INTJs is that because they have the TE, they are good networkers. To an INFJ, networking seems insincere, and at least it does to me. And I think that the reason that is because TE is a weak function for us, and so by the time we get the momentum up to use the TE, it's a pretty big deal, and it is insincere if we're going to be like doing that with everybody. So we usually just use it with people that we know better, and that's the same way that is for an INTJ with their FE. I think that they can see us as kind of insincere with how much that we use FE, but again, like that's an easy function for us, like it is for them with TE, and so for them it would be insincere to be using FE very much with people they don't know well, because just it's not justified by the amount of effort they have to put into it. And INTJs can kind of even see FE things, like it's not only that it's the weak function, it's also that they just really don't like it, and they can even ascribe kind of a petty value to it, kind of like we do with the TE. They're really good at making plans. They really take pride in making plans. This is something that they really put themselves into. For the people that they're close to and everything, they just really will put their heart into planning an event and making sure all the little details are taken care of, and I'll just make sure that it looks effortless and that it just kind of flows and goes together and everything, because they have the TE, which is into status. If something does go wrong, they're going to be embarrassed about it, because it's going to affect their status. That's their currency, that they deal in, like it is for us with the FE. So they definitely put that SI out there, just like the INFJs do, with being polite and courteous, like using that as kind of an in-between thing, a thing that buffer between you and the world, and a way to show your good intentions and that sort of thing. It does take a little bit of a different form with the INTJs than it does with the INFJs, at least in our case. She will seem to focus more on like making sure that her house looks really clean. She's like really very detailed about the way that her house looks, and I noticed that she noticed how to like fold towels exactly the right way and everything. I'm like, how did you even notice that much? Let's figure out how to do it. I seem to figure out more, like focus more on making sure that people feel emotionally comfortable with my SI, and I will kind of intentionally leave things around and stuff, just because that's what makes me feel comfortable. So I mean, I guess everyone does that. We're probably each hitting half of the people, right? But INTJs do not like when something unplanned happens. I've heard that INFJs are the same way, but cognitively, I can feel myself grown over something unexpected happening. But then, being a 7, I like surprises on the 7 side, so I'm kind of in between on that. Let's see.